Hey, what's up, TruExperience Nation? It's your boy, Richard McCain. I'm the man on a mission, boy. We're going to bring it to you live tonight. If you're new around here, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Guys, it's simple. What we do around here is we are here to help you learn how to experience your best life. And people are out there hurting, man. They in pain. They unsatisfied. They unsatisfied with themselves. They want to improve. They want their finances to improve. They want their health to improve. And that's what we're here to do. I read books every day. I work on personal development. I take these nuggets. I bring them to you. You like them? Great. If you don't, bye. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to be here regardless. We're about wealth, health, and experiences. And today we are jumping into the advanced tactics of the book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. Give credit where credit's due. I ain't no genius. I just learn from other people smarter than me, and I know how to apply them. So today we're going to talk about the Goldilocks rule, how to stay motivated in work and in life. And this is a good one. This is a good, thought process that you need to have. You can't just do the work when you're motivated. You got to do it during the downtime. So let's talk about this Goldilocks rule. Let me open it up with a story about a 10-year-old boy back in 1955 when Disneyland opened up, wanted to get a job. Back then, I guess you could employ 10-year-olds. So he got a job passing out flowers at Disney World. After a while, went to a magic shop, learned some magics and tricks from some of the older employees. Turned out he didn't like performing the magic tricks. What he loved was performing, period. And so, he wanted to be a comedian. So he tried to be a comedian. He'd go to some of these little, do his little stand-up routine. So at 10, by the time he's a few years later in his early teen years, he's performing in, restaurants or comedy bars and stuff like that. People not paying attention to him. Little 2-minute to 5-minute routines on a consistent basis. Even some of these people, he even performed in an empty bar. Can you imagine how difficult that was? So I was just in the Bahamas, and this lady was singing, and wasn't nobody paying attention to her. She wasn't even that good, but she's up there singing. I was like, man. How difficult would it be to perform? You're really out there, you're getting into it, you're feeling the vibes. How hard would it be to perform when nobody's paying attention to you? Or when you're in a room by yourself and people are supposed to be there? I would think that would have to affect you. I know I'm more hyped up when I'm talking with people and engaging, I'm going back and forth. So I can only imagine if I was performing like a comedian and telling jokes and nobody's laughing. Here this kid is early teens, performing in bars, 2 to 5 minutes. People aren't paying attention, and sometimes the bar's flapped empty. Stay motivated, he kept going. By 19, he was up to where he was doing like 20 minutes once a week, even had to throw in some poems to keep his routine long enough. But he plugged along, ended up getting a job for like television and writing and things like that. And then near 15 years later, got his break where, he started showing up on TV shows a little bit more, like talk shows and Saturday Night Live and things like that. And then he started selling out tickets and going around traveling and performing in different cities. Took him about 15 years of actually practicing the habit. And this person was Steve Martin. And so as I'm reading the story, I was fascinated about the level of motivation and consistency that this person put in when nobody was watching, when nobody was caring. He just kept showing up. And I was like, dang. And he actually said it. He said, I'm not on there. He was like 10 years of practice, 4 years of refining, and then like 4 years of massive success. And I read that and that inspires me, right? It kind of pumps me up like, man, you hear that all the time. Nobody's an overnight success. So how in the freak did he stay motivated? How do you stay motivated in your life? How do you stay motivated in your work in this thing that you're doing? How do you not give up? And they go and they talk about the Goldilocks rule. And the Goldilocks rule is simple, man. It's like staying within the zone right at the edge of your abilities. So think about you playing a pickup game of basketball or ping pong or tennis or whatever it is you like to play, and you're playing against a little kid. You're a grown adult, you're playing against a 5-year-old. You're going as hard as you can. They going as hard as they can. You smash them. It's going to happen, man. You're going to get bored. You know the outcome. Boring, not challenging, not fun. That habit's not going to stick because you're not getting any reward from that. Well, what happens if you go to the other end of the spectrum? Let's say you're playing against the professional of that particular sport. I'm playing against Kobe Bryant or LeBron James in basketball one-on-one. Now, after the initial excitement that's what I'm playing against, if we were just meeting on the court every single day, they're going as hard as they can, I'm going as hard as I can. I'm going to get annihilated. Guess what? Not fun. There's only so long you're going to feel like a failure before you just stop. Like, I'm not competing at this level. I know the outcome. It's too challenging. It's too hard. I'm not going to do this forever. The Goldilocks rule is finding that right there in between, right? What if I'm playing one-on-one with somebody that's really close to my ability, but maybe a little bit better, right at the edge of my abilities? They score some, I score some. I get some points in, they get some points in. I don't exactly know how it's going to come, and it's just challenging enough to be fun, but keep me motivated to keep coming back. That's the Goldilocks rule. That's operating right within that space of what they call a flow state. So he has a theory, the author has a theory, he said, about a flow state in general. He says all the studies show you got, different sides of the brain. You got system 1, they call it system 2. System 1 is stuff that where your habits lie, things that are automatic and programmed and just you can do without thinking on autopilot. System 2 is require more attention, more cognitive power, being conscious and really focusing on what's going on. He said he believes the flow state, not backed up by science, but I like the definition, that the flow state is where both of these systems are kind of working together. So one slide is on this side of the brain's all automatic, and this one over here is have to do a lot of thought. The flow state is both systems working at the same time, kind of in the middle. You kind of can do it automatically, but you're still having to push forward. And so I love that. That's how they ended up staying motivated, because boredom is one of the greatest villains of self-improvement. It's just boring. Like when people get bored, they don't want to keep taking the action. That's when people, that's why you always see when people are pumped up and motivated and they're ready to go to work, well, it's easy to show up then. Everybody can do that. Are you showing up on the days that you don't? You have to love the boredom. And operating within that Goldilocks, that perfect flow state of right in between can keep you pushing forward. That's why you always hear me say progress is the best form of motivation. Well, if you stack the chips where you're not getting any progress because you're getting beat down 24/7 like a failure, you're not going to keep going. If you're so above the skill level, what you're operating at, you're bored and it's not fun anymore. It's not rewarding. It's not challenging. You're not growing. So you always hear folks, get out of your comfort zone. Just step outside of your comfort zone a little bit. Well, that's pushing your abilities to the limit. Well, see, eventually, just like Steve Martin, he can only go for 2 or 5 minutes when he's telling jokes. He'd tell a little bit jokes. He'd add some stuff in. He'd keep some ones he knew worked pretty well. He'd add to it a little bit. He'd tweak. He'd refine. He'd get better. He'd go a little bit longer. And see, when he was doing all that, put him on the stage when he was selling out all these tickets, he could perform because he'd been building it up for years. That's fun, man. That's exciting. That's what it means to love the process. That's why you hear us say it's not about the goal. It's about the actions it takes to get to the goal. You've got to love the boredom. Another way it was put in another book that we're going to go over, it was something like people tend to fail because they can't handle the monotony of success. Monotony is boring. Success is boring. That's why people jump from thing to thing all the time. That's why they're in this business and that business, this diet to that diet, this workout to that workout. They get bored. They don't want to put the same reps up every time. You've got to handle the boredom and do it anyways. And love that process. And if you're constantly pushing yourself, just find out what's working, but then push yourself right outside that limit to right where you start getting really comfortable. Man, this is easy. I got this on autopilot. I don't have to think about it anymore. Well, it's time to switch gears just a little bit and add something else to it and do something just a little bit outside of your ability level, because that's where you're going to start seeing that growth. You're going to start seeing a little bit of progress. You're going to start getting a little bit more of excitement back. And it's going to keep you growing. It's going to keep you pushing. I love that concept of the Goldilocks rule. Let me read you what they said in here. And I just posted it on my Facebook profile, but I like it so much I'm going to repeat it right here. Mug says, professionals stick to a schedule. Amateurs let life get in the way. Ooh. Who's an amateur? Who's a professional? Who's an amateur trying to become professional? God dang, I'm going to tell you right now, that really hit, that spoke to me, because that used to be me. I'm going to be honest with y'all, man. I'm starting to teeter on the side of professional right now. That's where I'm at. I have moments where I let life get in the way, but they're fewer and they're far between than they used to be 12 months ago. That excites me. Professionals know what is important. Professionals knows what's important to them, and they work toward it with purpose. Amateurs get pulled off course by the urgencies of life. And they didn't do it, but I'm going to put urgencies right here. And I'll go into more detail about urgencies and fires and you know, all that kind of stuff, because it's in another book that lines up perfectly with this. But a lot of times I hear stuff from people when it comes to getting healthier, or, you know, if they're going to eat better, or if they're going to work out, or if they're working their business or not. And I hear all the stuff they come up with, and I'm like, you don't want to be condescending. I can't ever put myself in somebody else's shoe, and I don't know what somebody else is going through. But guys, man, everybody going through something. Everybody's got urgencies. That's life. Everybody got something going on. That's just the way it is. You don't think professionals, man, they get the same lack of motivation as everybody else. They just know to show up on the days when it's boring. They show up on the days when they don't want to. That's the difference. They don't excuse it out like, I got the sniffles today. My daughter's not feeling good. We're looking for reasons. We're looking for excuses not to improve. And for us to put ourselves in a situation where we're constantly battling and trying to push ourselves should help keep us motivated. But on the days you lack motivation, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You need to show up. I'm going to tell you what right now, my number one challenge is. When I'm at home and I'm in a rhythm. Like I'm locked in and feeling like $1,000,000. When I go on vacation, I feel great, but the things that are important to me, they slide a little bit because I'm on vacation. I need to find a way to continue to work and show up at a high level while I'm traveling, because I travel so much. It used to not be that big a deal because they would just be sporadic here and there. But dude, I travel a lot. I mean, a lot. I'm trying to think, like 10 days in Costa Rica, just spent a weekend in Dallas, just spent a weekend in the Bahamas. I don't know where I'm about to go in November. Oh, I'm about to spend a week in Orlando. And then in November, I'm going to be traveling somewhere to be determined. I don't know yet. And so that's a lot of traveling. And I used to just kind of let those sidetrack me a little too much. And I've always justified that. And that's what I want to get better at. I want to be a professional at home and on the road. I want to be locked in and fully focused. It's okay to have a lower level of activity, but I still need to have, in my opinion, a higher level of activity. I'm still doing the minimum. I'm still getting my reps in. Like I'm still doing the push-ups. I'm still doing the videos. I'm still doing those things, but I feel like it's time for me to up it. It's time for me to get a little bit more out of my comfort zone. I teetered there. It's time to take it up a notch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've built the foundation over the past several months of putting in the reps regardless of situation. That does feel good. When I'm on the road, I'm still journaling. I'm still reading. I'm still doing the lives. I'm still working out. Like, I'm still doing these things, but I'm just barely getting them in. And that was the goal initially. Now it's time to up it. Now it's time to hit a higher level of dedication. And I'm scared to say it out loud, but I'm thinking like 5 o'clock, man. When I get up at 5, I'm Superman. When I don't, I still get stuff done, but it is nowhere near the same level of energy or focus or efficiency when I get up later. It just doesn't matter. It's just the way it is. I've always justified like, it don't always happen. I just know it needs to happen more. And so I might have to get back to where 5 a.m. is just that thing, whether I'm traveling or not. And I'm going to tell you what's hard about that for me personally. When I'm traveling, I'm with my people. We're working during the day. We're doing our thing during the day. But at night, we kicking it. My friend, we might kick it at 2 o'clock in the morning, laughing, cutting up, playing games. And like, that's fun. That's what I want to do. And so I'm like, what do I want to do, man? Do I want to stay up and take advantage of this life that I have and stay up late? Or do I want to get up early and be effective early in the morning? And so I'll have to figure that out for myself on what I want to do. But my next challenge is to step it up on the road. But I need to find my Goldilocks on what's going to push me to the next level, but keep me motivated to take an action every day in work and in life. So I don't know, man. I like this one. Remember, professionals stick to the schedule. Amateurs let life get in the way. We all got stuff we got to deal with. It's just a matter of if you're going to prioritize and keep pushing forward, or you're going to keep getting pulled down by all the negativity and stuff that comes up and trying to justify it by it's more important, because it's honestly, in the long run, it's not. Anyway, guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I hope y'all have a wonderful hump day. Hope today was a good hump day for you. Mine was pretty good, considering quite productive in my opinion. And be back tomorrow, guys. So if you like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing lives or not. So let me talk about that. Facebook is messed up. They've changed the algorithm where I can't download and upload to YouTube. Either Facebook's changed it or YouTube's changed it, where YouTube tried to tell me this wasn't my content. I didn't own it. I didn't have the right to upload it, which is like poppycock. I own the page. I own the Facebook page. It's mine. It's me. What do you mean? I don't own it. So they won't let me upload, which means I have to add an extra step, which has got me thinking I might start recording these. And they might be recorded videos, which is either way, it's going to be a little bit more work, to be determined. I haven't quite figured it out. The plus side on that is I will get the batch content so that a video will go up every day, but I might be able to do 2 or 3 videos at one time. So when I am traveling, the content still goes up, and that's the key. So anyway, we'll see what's going on. Hope you have a wonderful night. Until tomorrow, guys, I'm out.